fellas, boys and girls. We got a pretty good topic today. I've been following this ever since Saturday. I first heard about it Saturday. I was at work. I first heard about it. Me and my coworker. Well, my coworker was telling me about it. I'm like, I don't even know what happened. So he told me about the incident going on with Kyrie Irving. You know, the NBA star Kyrie Irving. And I don't follow the NBA, so I don't know what team he played for, but I've heard him. I heard his name before, and the Nets. I think he played for the Brooklyn Nets, if I'm not mistaken. I think he played for the Brooklyn Nets. But it's this movie he watched. First of all, before I get into that, hey everybody doing it today, I want to thank you guys for being here again with me on my podcast. But back to what I was saying. He watched this movie that's on Prime, on Amazon Prime Video. I don't know if you can see it from any other streaming device, but it's on Prime. It's called Negroes. I'm sorry, Hebrews to Negroes. And the title was pretty much explaining the jump. What happened? You was once this, and now you're that. And he watched it. I think it's called Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America, or something like that. So I guess he watched it and he put it on his Instagram account. I think it was Instagram or Twitter or one. I don't know, but he put it on one of those accounts, those social media accounts, and he pretty much caught a lot of backlash from it because he watched the movie. Well, I think it was a documentary. It's like 3 hours and some change long. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to. But I don't need to really watch the movie to talk about something like this because this is something that happens pretty much all the time. So, hey Angelica, hey Katrina, hey Miss Parker, hey Camilla. Um, this happens all the time when it comes to certain things you can say and cannot say. So the name of the title of the documentary, I think it's a documentary or movie. I didn't watch it. It's called Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. Um, so he watched it, and he put it on his Instagram account. But I'm quite sure when he watched it and put it on his Instagram account, he didn't think nothing of it. Like any of us will pretty much do when it comes to movies and documentaries. Okay, fan, you watch the movie, you can put it on any social media platform, and you might get a little backlash from some things, but when he probably when he woke up, it was probably crazy. I don't know him, so I don't know what his what's your name his comments and stuff was, but now that he posts that, now the Jewish people, the Jewish people, not well, I'll just say the Jewish people, they're calling him anti-Semitic because everybody know about the Holocaust. Okay, Hitler and the Jews. Hitler had a thing for the Jews, and he pretty much killed a lot of them. Sad to say, he did. Now, I'm not agreeing on nothing that Adolf Hitler did. What he did was it wrong? Yes, I agree, 100%, hands down. Can't be shaken or stirred. Yes, he was wrong. You're not supposed to go about killing people like that just because you don't get along with them or for reasons unknown or for his own personal reasons why he did it. Nobody know. None of us was back there. That's on this lab. None of us was back there to tell a story what really happened. But now the thing is this. First of all, before I start, I'm not racist. I'm not a bigot. I'm not prejudiced. I'm not anything like that. Anything negative. Okay, you're right. Okay, but we gonna get to that, Angelica. We gonna get to that. I'm none of that. So what I'm saying, you can take it the way you want to take it. You can do some history on it. I'm just giving my thought on this. So I don't want nobody turning around and pointing a finger and saying, "How dare you speak this? You're anti-Semitic too. You're a bigot. You're doing this. You're doing that." No, I'm none of those. I just pinpoint stuff the way I see it, and I just elaborate on it. That's all I do. So, as I was saying, um, they call him an anti-Semitic. They call him racist. In other words, how dare you put that up there? But we got to look at it through a negative. We got to look at it through we got to look at a negative thing through a positive eye. Jeff Bezos owns Amazon. He's the third richest man in the world. Why they didn't go to him and ask him to pull the movie down? Because it's been out for, I don't know how long it's been out. It didn't just come out today or yesterday. I think it's been out for a couple of days or months, whatever. He did that to the Jehovah's Witness as well. Who did it to the Jehovah's Witness? Jehovah's Witness, I'm sorry. Um, but long story short, you got these same people. Let's just call it the way it is, people. All right, let's just be honest and open it up and call it the way it is. How can you call somebody anti-Semitic and say you're preaching hate? First of all, one, he didn't make the movie. Two, he wasn't even in the movie. Three, they say by him putting it on his page, he's promoting the movie. He's not promoting the movie. He just put a movie on the page just like all of us do when we see horror movies, when we see comedy skits and stuff. Just because you put it on your page, that don't mean you're promoting stuff that's from a movie. It's a movie, it's a documentary. It's really not that big of a deal. Okay. Now, these are the same people that run the banks. I'm not saying all same thing happened with Kanye. Kanye was spilling the beans, which Ice Cube did way before Kanye. NWA and them, a whole bunch of people did this stuff way before Kanye. Not trying to take nothing from him, but this isn't about Kanye. Okay. These are the same people that's calling him anti-Semitic, or you preaching hate, or you showing people how to go the wrong way. They make movies about slavery. You know, Amistad, Roots, Rosewood, I think it was a Dry White Season, Craft Freedom, Serafina. These some of these movies I just named have white directors. Okay, so when they make these movies, they showing you in those movies what really took place in slavery, the killing, the lynching, the 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 forced sex on women, the forced sex on men, the dogs. They sicking dogs on your brothers and sisters. They putting them in the trees and hanging them, and they tying them up on railroad tracks and burning the bodies and taking the pictures of it. But they want to trip on him for putting a movie out he had nothing to do with on his page, and they say he's preaching hate. Well, if you ask me, they're the ones preaching hate. But when the gun, remember the old saying, "There's no fun when the rabbit got the gun." That's pretty much what's going on now. Now everybody's in the uproar. The Jews are in the uproar. Newsflash to all the Jewish people, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but let's just be honest about it. Y'all wasn't the only ones that caught hell. Ooh, sorry about that. My ear was itching. Y'all not the only ones that caught hell. Black people was in slavery too, but you don't hear that being announced. They quick to have a shirt and say, "Remember the Holocaust," which is fine. That's what they went through. I'm sorry they went through it. But if a black man say, "Remember slavery," well, guess what? You're preaching hate. You're actually preaching hate. Why is that? Hitler had his crew killing Jewish people, which was wrong. Europeans had their crew killing black people. It's pretty much evil. There's no higher ranking. Evil is evil, no matter how we look at it. Plain, cut and dry, nail it to the cross, whatever. So how can he be preaching hate? Now he's catching hell. Go on YouTube and type in Kyrie Irving and look at his interviews. They trying to slander this dude, man. They trying to slander him. And I must say, if it was me, if it was me, I wouldn't apologize for nothing that I said that I know that I'm right about. Oh, I'm sorry. I wouldn't. I don't care who like it. I don't care who disagree with me. You can call me what you want. Now remember, Jesus got killed by white people. Let's just be honest. I think they were Romans. Yeah, they were Romans. He got killed by them. So anybody should want to hold a grudge, it should be him. You didn't see black people saying, "You know what? We finna crucify him." No, black people didn't have that type of power back then. Well, black people don't have that type of power today. We don't. But they want to try to slander this man's name. But notice, every time you stand up against them, as long as they stand up with each other and talk about you, it's fine. But the moment somebody notice where they come from and say, hey, you know what? Hey, I'm a true Jew. I'm a real Hebrew. Then they got something to say like, no. Well, quote unquote, they say those Hebrews are God chosen people. No, it's not. They say it's pretty much what God say. Look it up. It's everywhere in well, not everywhere in the Bible, but certain scriptures tells you who God's people is. They're Hebrews. They were not white people. Okay, but white people will have a tendency to throw themselves in the mix. And so there you have it. So we were just nothing. We're a nation of people just went into slavery and we were just nothing. So why is that? Why they want to paint themselves the heroes and they paint us the nobodies, the losers, the nothings? Why is that? I wish they did that about slavery. Slavery lasted longer. Yes, it did. Slavery, and you know that's funny because I was just about to talk about that. Slavery lasted way longer than the Holocaust. We lost way more brothers and sisters in slavery than the Jews had lost in the days of Hitler. Hey, call it what it is. It's wrong. Taking innocent lives are wrong. All right. I don't know what Hitler's problem was, but I can say what the Caucasian people problem was. First of all, let's just be honest. Well, I'm gonna be honest, man. They always had a problem with us. As long as we can keep them paid and entertained, they don't have a problem with us. So yeah, you can make all the rap music you want, talking, calling girls out their names, and the women shaking their butts on these videos, and the men is doing all type of things on to these women in these videos, degrading them, talking about running, doing all type of sexual things to them, and the guys and talking about I'm about to pull up and come out, I'm gonna put two in your head and drag your body to your. Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying, but why is that? Why is that? Hmm. It's because they don't care. Because we're making them money. You can, bro, you can say what you want to say, long as I get that paper. Your stupidity is putting my kids through college. It's making me get a bigger house, making me pay my mortgage, giving my wife new cars, giving my kids stuff in the will when I'm gone, but because of our stupidity. Yeah. Slavery, slavery was always entertaining to them. If they had their way, if certain people had their way in this world today, we would be in shackles again, serving the master in their houses and stuff and cooking for them and raising their kids if they had their way. Because something my old man said, and this don't go for all races, this don't go for all white races, all Asian, it don't go for all of them. There's good in every bunch, but guess what? Leopards don't change their spots. They don't. We saw that when Donald Trump got in office. We already knew racism existed and bigotry and hatred and prejudice. We already knew it exists. We always knew that. But when Donald Trump came in and said, you know what, hey, let's make America great again, man, them white folks act a fool. And we saw it unfold right before our very eyes. Interracial couples, the white man was turn around calling they black wives the N word and go back to Africa and all this stuff, and nobody said nothing that made it big like Kyrie Irving was saying. The thing about Trump, I don't vote for Trump. I would never vote because that's just not in me to vote because people run and vote. That's y'all business. Y'all want to go vote, knock yourself out. I'm not knocking nobody who vote, but Trump came in showing his colors. That's why I'm like, this guy's funny, man. He was funny. I got to give it to him. The guy was hilarious. They don't have nothing to hide from you. When they speak the truth, they gonna speak the truth. But when one of us get up and speak the truth, it's a problem. Why is that? Same thing happened with Colin Kaepernick. It's the same thing. They want us to salute a flag, but the flag ain't did nothing to help us. Nothing. Yes, this is 2023, and guess what? There's still white privilege. White privilege gonna be here when I'm dead and gone, when y'all dead and gone, until the Lord come and everything's over with. Then white privilege is dead. So that's pretty much all it is. How can you say that about the Jewish Holocaust? Guess what? It happened. People die every day. Damn it, Jews aren't the only people that die. Asians die. Native Americans die. Black people, well, we know they die. Hispanics die. Everybody dies. But they want to look at like the Holocaust is like God's calling. Like, no, we cannot forget what happened to those people. No. How about we can't forget what happened to them, just like we can't forget what happened to us? But when we speak about us, nobody wants to hear it. Oh, well, slavery, well, you know what? That happened a long time ago. Can we all just get along? But guess what? You don't see Jews saying, well, you know what? The Holocaust happened a long time ago. They say, you know what? Hey, don't forget what happened. I used to see them on t-shirts back in the days. Do not forget the Holocaust. So who's the culprit? Kyrie Irving or the Jewish people? Let's just be honest. Are all of them bad? Absolutely, positively not. There are a lot of good people that's in other races, but the mass majority, the bigger number is going to always take over the little number. Do they own banks? Yeah, they own banks. They pretty much own the world, but they got it so like, well, you know what? Out of 800 banks, out of 800 banks, the Jews own 800 banks, but 200%, 200 banks are owned by Polish people or Russians or whatever. Dude, nobody cares about that. We're in their world. Remember that. We're in their world. So Kyrie Irving said he wanted to wake his people up. He like, I know what I am. I'm a Hebrew. And that's the part they don't like because they want to say they're Hebrews. No, they say they're God chosen people. I can stand with any one of them today. I don't care if it's a high ranking rabbi or a lower ranking rabbi. I'll stand with one of them today and I will ask them, prove that you're a Hebrew. Prove that you're a real Jew. Prove it. Prove it to me. If you can prove it to me, I'll take back everything I said about y'all and say, you know what? Y'all God's chosen people. You know why they can't? Because it don't exist. It don't exist. Remember, we was once a high people, but now we at the bottom of the barrel. Everybody picks on us. They make movies about us. I just seen something on Facebook. These college kids for Halloween, they was dressing up as blackface. Nobody's going to touch these white boys. They're not. The only thing that's gonna happen, the only thing they're gonna say about it is, you know what, that was wrong. That's it. Then they'll come up there and make a formal apology or public apology, and that's it. So Kyrie Irving, bro, stand tall, stand proud, be happy what you are because they show in the hell is happy what they are. They love their race, love your race. I'm just ecstatic that somebody finally got up and did something. That's just me. I'm happy somebody got up and did something, and all them brothers in the NBA should be right behind him. That goes to show you where the noose is. They all should be right behind him. Well, you know what, bro? You right, man. It's about time for us to really see what the problem is. But as long as they keeping them check sign, they ain't got nothing to say, man. Look, that's his fight, and ain't that's just how like we do. That's almost pretty much all black people. Well, I ain't got nothing to do with that, bro. Wrong is wrong, right is right. Everybody can stand up for each other and they culture and they race except us. Remember, they took our God and gave us their God. Now you have to serve our God. If we catch you serving your God, we're going to kill you. That's pretty much what was happening in slavery. Come on, let's just be honest about it. But if I'm talking like this, the right words going the wrong ear, I'll have a billion comments on my YouTube and my Facebook tomorrow talking about I'm preaching hate. I can't preach hate because I don't have hate in my heart. But hate taught hate. That's why the world is messed up now because they brought this stuff into the world. We didn't. Remember, we didn't come and get them. They came and got us. Was it our own free will? Did we look and say, ooh, look, boats. Let's go over there with them. And they were like, come on aboard. We finna treat y'all like king. No. No, it never happened like that. They came and got us against our own free will, and that's another topic I will talk about some other time. But now I'm not going to talk about it right now. But but then when you get here, they work you to the bone. Look how many of your ancestors didn't even make it to America. But there's something they would say in a heartbeat. Well, you know what? Won't you let? How come we just can't get along? How come we can't let the past be in the past? Because the past can't be in the past. Because history repeats itself. That's why. Don't ever, to anybody out there listening, all my brothers and sisters, my black brothers and sisters, do not ever in your life, until God take His breath out of your lungs, don't ever, ever forget what they did to us. Don't ever forget that. But they will want you to forget it. But don't ever forget it. Am I preaching hate? No. Am I saying, you know what? I ain't gonna forget. I'm finna go out there and start killing white people. Don't do that. You'll be a fool to do that. You can respect somebody. You can respect anybody, but just don't forget what they did to us. But they want us to forget what they did to us. And why is that? But but they want us to forget all the time. Like I said, oh, that's the past. But them Jews ain't finna forget what Hitler did. They'll never forget that. Hitler was bogus for doing what he did. Yeah. So if they can bring up their stuff every once in a while, remember the Holocaust and never forget, we should be able to do the same thing and get the same respect they give everybody else. Well, you know what? Let them black people do their thing. You know, we was bogus for that. Yeah, we was. Oh, that wasn't us. But guess what? Newsflash, this just in. Although you wasn't there, that's your bloodline. Those are your ancestors. So you might as well have been there. Just like the Lord punished us for being disobedient, I wasn't there. We still got to pay for it. So whether we like it or not, truth, fiction or nonfiction, that's just how it is, people. But they want to run this man name through the mud. And he's a young brother that's coming to existence. I mean, coming to a knowledge of what he is. Just like he told the news reporters, they was interviewing him. I think it was in the locker room after the game. I don't know. It was somewhere. And he was like, I want y'all to keep that same energy. I want some pretty much, unless I want y'all to keep that same energy. Where was y'all at when my people was jumping off boats because they didn't want to come to slavery? When white people was cutting the babies out the women's stomach and feeding them to the sharks and the alligators and stuff that followed the slave ships, where were y'all at? But that's the stuff they want us to forget. Oh, that happened 400 some years ago. No, you can't do that. Those days are gone. No, 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 no. Slavery was never abolished in the first place. They took the chains from here, in here, in here, and put them in here. So there you go. It was never abolished. Slavery still exists. Is they just got a more unique way of doing it. They all this stuff. It was unique from day one. They know they couldn't keep us in shackles all the time like that. So guess what they did? They said, you know what? We gonna still do it, but we gonna do it the smart way. Yeah, okay, give them a little bit of this, give them a little bit of that. Some of them gonna be rich and famous, some of them gonna be millionaires, some of them gonna be billionaires. But guess what? There's a limit to everything you do, and when you get to that high standard, guess what you got to do? You got to sell out. Remember, in the scriptures, the Lord said, "A rich man entering the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is like it's like trying to put a camel through a needle hole, something like that. I can't remember how it goes. That means it's damn near impossible, people. That means it's impossible because nobody's going to give up their riches to walk with God. They're just not going to do it. They're not. I don't care if it's an evangelist, a televangelist. They will preach that stuff to you, and those are freaking false prophets anyway, man. We can't follow everything we hear. We can't. But you know us, we want to follow the first thing that say, saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Spirit, and Jesus. And these people ain't even living right. That's like that's like pretty much preaching to the choir. My man. So we got to be careful because their God is here. Our God, we can't serve our God because they took all of that. What do you think slavery was about? If you only thing Kyrie Irving was pretty much saying if you open your Bibles and read the Bibles or the Bible, you'll find out what really happened, why we are here. It's right there in Deuteronomy. It's right there in the Bible. You know, people run up and say, well, you know what? Hey, they came, the white people came and took us from Africa. No, Africa never really went into slavery, people. Newsflash, it wasn't African people. If you look in the Bible, there's no scripture saying Africa went into slavery. He always say in the Bible, the prophets and Jesus and, people that wrote the Bible, which are prophets, he always said who his people were. That's what a big fight is because he said it, and now they were like, you know what? He was talking about us. No, he was talking about us. No, he was talking about black people. Let's just be honest. That's why he said, I'm the God of Israel. Israel is an Israelite. Israelites are Hebrews. Hebrews are from the 12 tribes of Israel. White people wasn't in those tribes. They were nowhere around there. So, hey, guess what? Don't shoot the messenger. Don't. They give us they give us the Bible, their version. Everybody in the Bible is white. So where is the being anti-Semitic when you're telling the truth? I can start a show right now and say all these pictures in the Bible, the angels they show us, and the half dressed men and women, them people, them ain't them are not people. Somebody said, you know what, Pico, you preaching hate. No, I'm not preaching hate. I'm preaching the truth because somebody got to tell somebody the truth. They don't want nobody to know that out of all these years, they had everybody fooling. When everybody comes to existence, people saying, well, you know what? Hey, newsflash. Jesus is black. Jesus was never a white man. But these are the same people that take your stuff and flip it around, but you can't say nothing about it. See, the thing is, when you make God or anybody that serves God, Jesus, the angels, the prophetess in the Bible, the prophets in the Bible, Adam and Eve, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Noah, Enoch, which is in the Bible anymore, but it was a scripture that's not in the Bible. No, but it's not anymore. Enoch, Samson, Moses. You gotta paint that picture of them being white because those were the heroes of the Bible. So no, they couldn't show you. Well, you know what? These people were black. We got to take that up out of there. For now, when you paint the pictures, paint everybody white. Jesus white with long hair, and it clearly says in the Bible that Jesus had um, hair like lamb wool and feet like polished brass. That's a brother. That's a brother. But the picture we see, what he got long hair. He always doing like this. He got the heart and the angels. Where he don't nobody even know how angels really freaking look, cause angels never show their true form. They never do. So how can they portray the role of an angel that come down with a heart, with white sheets around them, with white wings and the halo? We don't even know how they look. We don't. Do angels wear halos? They probably do. But no, that's not the way we think it is. Newsflash. There was this video on YouTube. It was a long time ago, so they probably took it down, but it was years ago. This man, he had a son. The father was like he was prejudiced. He didn't like black people. He didn't like black people at all. His son had a near death experience. I'm not making this up. If y'all can find it, I hope y'all can. But if not, they probably can snatch it down. His son had a near death experience. Actually, well, no, his son was half past dead. His son died. But, well, yeah, a near death experience. He died, but he came back. They revived him, brought him back. He told his father. Now remember what I said. His father was a racist. He was a racist. He didn't like black people. He didn't like Jews. He didn't like nobody but his own white race. His son came back. They brought his son back, and his little bitty boy, he probably was like 7 or 8 or probably 10. His son told his father, hmm, interesting. His son came back when they revived him, and he told his father he died and went to heaven. Okay, that's not the kicker. The little boy said when he looked up, he seen Jesus and excuse my saying, and all those nigger angels. He said Jesus was black, and all those nigger angels was looking down at him, and they brought him back to life. When he said that, his father flipped around what he was. He's not even he don't even hate people anymore. So there you go. Dad, what they told us was a lie. Cause I went to heaven and I saw these Jesus and I saw these nigga angels looking down on me. That was what he said. I'm not making this up. Like I said, if y'all can find it on YouTube, go to YouTube and watch it. If they ain't snatched it down, you probably have to dig deep into Google. But yeah, that's a true story. And if it's not a true story, why would a kid make something up like that and his dad's a Klan member? Why? That's a little food for thought right there. So Kyrie Irving, in my book, you did nothing wrong, man. You did nothing wrong because when you speak truth, everybody's going to point the finger at you that's supposed to point the finger at you and say, you know what? Sit him down. Same thing they did with Colin Kaepernick. Sit him down. Should no black person in this world should salute the American flag because the American flag did nothing for us but put our people in slavery. That's the same flag they had when we get off those boats to here, and they was putting your brothers and sisters on podiums, and white people was coming picking at them and grabbing their personal areas. Okay, this is a big one. He'll do. Okay, he's gonna work out in the field. This one, she's light skinned. She's a little lighter than he is. She's gonna be in the house cooking our food and breastfeeding our kids and taking care of our kids. These are the same people, the exact same people. Because although it happened years ago in history, but all you got to do is follow the breadcrumbs, follow the blood trail. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Angela. Perfect. You said it perfectly. So everybody can go home. Think about it. And what I'm saying is pretty much what I'm doing now, I'm playing a picture of me being in Kyrie Irving's head. Everybody can go home. Asians can go back to China or Asia or Tokyo, where all that stuff. Russian people can go back where they come from. Polish people can go back where they come from. African people can go back where they come from. We can't go back home because we don't have a home to go home to. We can't go home. They got a building in New York. It's called, I think it's the UN, United Nations. All those nations sit around, but guess what they do? They pointed Africa to be for all black people. And pretty much most Africans don't even like us anyway. And I'm quite sure we had those experiences a couple of times. If you didn't, hey, consider yourself lucky. Are all Africans bad? Heck no. I know a I know a brother from Ghana. He's real cool. That's like a brother to me. He the one inspired me to do podcasting. I always had a voice for podcasting, but he the one pushed me into it. I'm like, man, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it. I'm not. This is one thing about Pico. Pico will never preach hate. Although there's a lot of hate in the world, I don't have time to. I don't have the time to preach hate because Pico gonna always enjoy life. I'm a brother that enjoys life. I can take nothing and make something out of it because I'm always in a good mood. I'm not saying I'm the happiest guy in the world. Things do get to me just like everybody else, but it's just something about being happy. It makes me feel good. And people that's always happy, you know what I'm talking about. You ain't even always have to be happy, but if you have a taste of being happy, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm just trying to imagine all the stuff that's going through Kyrie Irving's head right about now. He probably like, man, this is crazy. I didn't know it was gonna be like this. I didn't know. Boy, you preaching hate. You're promoting violence. But the evil that taught us evil, now they want to say we're promoting violence. We're promoting something that y'all gave us the mindset to do. Come on, man. Let's come on. Let's just a spade is a freaking spade. Okay? It wasn't us that was going around killing other nations like that. No, it wasn't us. It was them Take a look at your Roman movies. Take a look at your British movies. Take a look at Julius Caesar then when they had people in those coliseums down there fighting them lions. Guess what? Black people was down there too. Because when we were slaves, the Lord said, when we become slaves, we're going to be in all four corners of the universe, of the world. That's north, south, east, and west. So black people were slaves all the way around. It didn't just hit America. No, you had slaves over in the Colombian, the Cayman. You had slaves everywhere. When they spreaded us, they spread us out. But this is the stuff we can't talk about because I'm a black man with a voice. And if a sister was up here saying this, she'll be a sister with a voice, and they'll call her a bigot too. You preaching hate, but have you ever noticed every time you try to tell the truth about something, people say you're preaching hate? That goes with black people and white people. Noah, I'm just speaking the truth. I don't hate anybody. I'm a I think I'm a pretty decent guy. I don't. There's just a lot of things I don't do. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't smoke weed. I'm not a basehead. No, I just do what I do. I enjoy my life. But just as I can flick the switch on and be Pico, the skater, mingle with a lot of people, do all type of crazy things, crack jokes, I can also flick the switch up to a higher note to be intellectual because I know what I'm talking about. The brother Kyrie Irving, he when he watched the documentary, these are the words that came out of his mouth. He said, "Hey, although I watched it, I don't agree with everything that was going on in the documentary." He admitted that a lot of this stuff is probably wrong, but a lot of stuff in there is probably right. Why do they want to take your identity instead of their identity? Because everybody want to be the chosen people. That's why. If I made a people, let's just say I'm God, and I start making people. I made yellow people. I made brown people. I made red people. I made green people. I made purple people. I made pink people. I made white people. I made black people. And I'm study making these people. I'm study making them. I'm study making them. I'm like, okay, man, now we got ourselves a population. We got ourselves a world. And I say, hey, you know what? Out of all these things I made, which one do I favor the most? Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna say the black people are my chosen people. Can't nobody change that because when he do it, you can't change it. Nobody has that power to change that. I'ma say the Hebrew race are my chosen people. The 12 tribes of Israel are my chosen people. Okay, these are my chosen people. I love these people more than I love anybody else. Then another group of people get up and say, hey, we know you're God's chosen people. We know that. But we got to take y'all spot. Why would you want to take our spot? The Lord made us all. God made us all. Why would you want our spot? Because he favors y'all more than he favors us. Remember, that's the same thing that happened with God in the morning star. And we all know who the morning star is. That's Lucifer. Almost not the exact same thing, but somewhat in that same scripture, not scripture, in that same boat, things happen. He made man. Lucifer wasn't having it. Who are these people? We got all these abilities. They can't do nothing but die. They can serve you and die. They have a choice. So, man, look, forget what you say. That's when the big fight came. That's why he had to kick Lucifer out. The same thing. It's the same thing. If you look at it pretty much in a nutshell, it's the same thing. So, um, call it the way it is. I don't make the rules. I just pretty much call it as I see it. I do not make rules. I didn't write any Bibles. I didn't write any books. But I'm just a guy that's gonna always tell the truth, no matter what people say. I don't sugarcoat anything. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. I'm not always right, but then again, I'm definitely not always wrong. Like I said in a couple of my previous podcasts, there's a lot I still need to learn. But from what I know and from the things I've seen and I've studied and I sit down with people and talk, we're pretty much on the same page. And these aren't just run of the mill people. They're not. I through my years of growing into knowledge, I've talked to some pretty heavy hitters. But I'm not going to go into name and details and stuff. But and I'm not tooting my own horn or bragging. I'm just saying I'm not. I'm a guy that just likes to find out the truth about things. So hey, who knows? One day Kyrie Irving might see my podcast, bro. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. Don't let nobody shut you up if you're speaking the truth, even if it means your life. If somebody want to assassinate, dude, die with the truth. Die with dignity. They didn't kill Jesus for telling lies. If Jesus came telling lies and fell into Satan's hand, he'd probably be still here. All these leaders that came up, they didn't tell lies. They were speaking the truth. Why do you think they're not here anymore? Because truth hurts. The truth will always hurt and it'll always set you free. Remember, there's a scripture in the Bible when the Lord said his word, the truth and the word is sharper than any two-edged sword. It will cut you down. It will make you feel like crap. It will make you feel like garbage. But that's the truth job. The truth is doing his job when he condemn your wrongness and say, you're wrong for this. I don't care what nobody say. If you don't change your ways, you're going to run into a problem. But we don't do that anymore to people. We want to slap people on the wrist or pat them on the back and say, oh, you know what? God will understand. No, God up there shaking his head like, why y'all tell this person I understand? I don't even understand. I know it sounds funny, but let's just be honest. It's so much that goes into what Kyrie Irving was trying to what he did about that. But the only thing I don't like about it is he apologized. I'm sorry I put the movie up. No, bro, don't apologize for nothing because they don't apologize for stuff. They do. They don't. I haven't yet seen a public apology to the black race for white people putting us in slavery, killing all our ancestors. I ain't seen one yet. If it's available, I'm not saying it don't exist, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it come on my timeline. I haven't seen nobody say, you know what? I want to apologize for the black race. Although I wasn't back there when slavery took, those are my ancestors, those are my great 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 grandparents or such and like that. I want to apologize on their actions because they treated y'all like dirt. I ain't seen them come back yet. But they want him to apologize. Oh no, you can't say that. And I guess he was like, you know what, forget it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Screw it. I'm sorry. Yep, there you go. They never will. They will say it didn't happen. Oh, that didn't happen. You don't have any proof. Okay, guess what? We ain't got no proof that the Holocaust happened. I'm just seeing pictures and stuff. I wasn't back there, just like y'all wasn't back there. So how you know it don't exist? So I pretty much got to take y'all word for it, and I don't have a problem taking y'all word for it. If that's what Hitler did, hey, guess what? I was in no power. I wasn't even born to stop Hitler. I'm sorry he did that to y'all. It shouldn't have never happened, but it happened. There's nothing no black person can do to prevent that. No white person can do to prevent that. Hitler's gone. The people he took with him and the people in the Holocaust, the Jews, those people are dead now. God rest their soul. But what about my people? What about my brothers and sisters that didn't make it over here? When y'all tied them to poles and beat the crap out of them and cut their body parts off and fed the kids to alligators and had the kids in a ring. I mean, the boxing ropes, but it wasn't no ring. It was just rope around grass and put the kids in there and let alligators come on and bite their heads and stuff off, and y'all laughed at it. Who really? When does it stop? When does it stop? So I'm not Jewish. I mean, no, I am. Well, that's another story. But I wasn't back there with that. But I feel their pain, just like I wasn't back there with my ancestors. But I feel their pain. But it's rough when I feel it from my own people. All I can do is point the fingers, like, man, you know what? To the Jews, I'm so sorry that happened to y'all. I'm so sorry. If I could change it, I would. But it's done. If I can change my people went into slavery, it's done. I can't do that. But there's a reason for everything. And that's going to be my next podcast. Why we went into slavery. because a lot of people don't know why we went into slavery. They gave us one story, but that's not the truth. So it's deeper than what we think. So Kyrie Irving, keep your head up, bro. If they say, well, you know what, Kyrie, we gotta let you go. You can't be a basketball player no more. You know what? You know what? Hey, thank y'all for signing me on when I did. Don't ever bow down to nobody that wants you to bow down for them for speaking your mind. That that goes without saying. You don't even do that in the street. You don't do that with nobody. You don't do that with your bosses, with the you don't do that with nobody. If you speak the truth, people are always gonna not like you for telling the truth. Now, if I was up here promoting rap videos, um, all type of negativity, nobody will have nothing to say. Or on live, and I got pictures all back here of girls showing their booties in bikinis and stuff. People wouldn't have nothing to say. Oh man, Pico man, I love your podcast, but since I don't teach negativity, I always try to upraise somebody or root them and point them in the right direction. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Now tomorrow I can do a show and say I'm gonna talk about sex. Who should lead when it comes to sex? Or I'm gonna talk about how rich Beyonce name is, or how many homes she just bought, and Jay Z is there for her, and he bought her all. He bought her this big diamond ring and bought her a ring the size of a boat. That's stuff people want to hear because guess what? Ignorance is bliss. It's bliss, man. I know that when you get to talking negativity, no, I mean positive, nobody wants to hear that. That's with old school. That's with new school. But I'm not here for the crowd. I'm not here for the likes. I'm not here for the number of people watching me. I have a platform. Hey, I want people to know what's going on. I'm gonna do it. I love you guys for watching, but hey, I'm just gonna be honest about it. If y'all wasn't watching, I was gonna do. Hey, I would do it anyway. I was doing it before I even do it. Start doing live. But now that I have a voice, I can help somebody else. Who knows? I may be an inspiration to somebody watching this, and y'all might start a podcast. Nobody knows. And I'm not the type of guy that man. Uh, call my girlfriend up. Hey, babe, guess what? Such and such got a podcast now. Oh, that's crazy. No, they trying to be like me now, dude. No, no, no. Time's out for that. Life is too short to be fussing and fighting with your people. It is. Just like they can come together, we can come together